yeah, you pick up on different things. And I think some people put pressure on the kids in the sense of, okay, you're 18 now, you're an adult, it's time for you to go off in the world and do whatever it is you want to do. And it's like, it's not that long ago that I was just, going to prom or, taking my first driver's test. I really don't think at 18 I'm an adult yet, and I think that that's something where we do a disservice to kids. It's like, it's okay to not have everything figured out. Just because you're 18 legally does not mean you're an adult. Mm-hmm. It's okay to not know what you want to do in life and not know who you are yet. You're supposed to go out into the world and figure that out.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like I have like two versions of that experience, because I feel like absolutely yes, like I feel like it's crazy that adults expect like kids to like know what they want to do with their life, and I'm like, you don't know until you're in it, man. You don't know until you are in the field. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't for me. But I do feel like on the other side of that, I had to grow up quickly, even when my dad was alive, because I mean, we grew up in a pretty tumultuous household. Like, dad was undergoing a lot of substance abuse, and mom was just trying to like keep it together. And so I feel like at a lot of the times, like I was trying to keep the family together and trying to take care of my sister and trying to, like I said, I feel like as a child, I was always trying to just not be a problem, like just try and not get in the way, because it was just such a hard house to live in. And so I felt like I grew up a lot, and maybe that's why, like, in my high school years, I think I carried that over. I was just trying to like, just make sure I wasn't a burden on my mom, because she was already having to be mom, dad, and breadwinner, and on top of like navigating this business that was so hard for her to navigate. And it was like, I mean, she excelled beautifully, obviously. We saw that, but it was hard. And, people were not kind to her when she was there. It was a hard locker room for her to be in. And so I felt like I was always just trying to like hang back and just make sure like she was okay. So, but yeah.
I think that also circles back around to what you and I both touched on earlier in the podcast, is just be kind. Let's be pros at being fans, because you have no idea. Like, a person can pretend to be something on social media, but at the end of the day, there's only so long someone can pretend before they get exposed to as being phony, and like you said, like some people were not very nice. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how could you not be nice to a woman who's, trying to fend for her family, trying to honor a late husband, trying to fulfill a dream. And she also said, in a sense, she was trying to figure out who she was as a person. She was like, I was always Eddie's wife. I was always Mrs. Guerrero. I was always so-and-so, such and such. She was like, I had no idea who Vicky was. Yeah. And she was like, I had to figure that out. But at the same time, I had to also try to be a mother. I had to try to be both mom and dad. And I also had to try to be, like you said, the breadwinner and everything. And she was like, I made so many mistakes. And I think it's okay for parents to admit, my mother has done this, and I'm immensely proud of her. It takes a lot of guts to be like, wow, I messed up. And not just to admit your mistake, but admit why it was wrong, and just to say you're sorry. It's okay to apologize to children. It's okay to admit your failures, because I think that automatically makes you better than when you failed. And it's almost like what you were talking about when you said people that, cared about you were like, hey, you're not okay. You need help. And then you were like, wow, actually, I do need help. And you had enough guts and enough gumption to go after that. And I think that is a part of what you were saying before. You didn't want to be a problem, but also you grew up faster, and you also saw somebody fighting. And I think that makes you a fighter too. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. I think I think when parents are able to admit like mistakes or they're wrong or something like that, like that's just as important as being a good example. Like, you have to be a good example in forgiveness and at admitting that you're wrong and whatnot. And so like my mom did a beautiful job raising us, especially with all of the circumstances she was put in and whatnot. And I'm like, and my dad was a good father even through his substance abuse. Not that he was a good father in his substance abuse, like he did his best with that, but getting to see him come out of his substance abuse and saying I'm sorry and saying I'm wrong and fight through that, like made me, I think, was a good example for me when I was handling my demons. So I think like they're both like, having a perfect parent doesn't yield a perfect child. I was like, if anything, it's probably going to yield an asshole. So like you need to be able to show your kids also not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself and letting them see that evolution as well, and how to be kind to yourself, which is so hard after, you make a mistake. So yeah, we got to see the whole cycle. That way we can learn how to do it for ourselves.
Yes, you should not have to sacrifice your integrity to achieve a dream. Dreams are not supposed to cost your integrity. Integrity isn't something you can buy again at a store, or if you get a certain amount of likes on social media. Integrity, you either have it or you don't. And once you sell it, you don't have it anymore. And we've all been put in those positions, and not just in the business, but in life, where it's like, do I really want to sell my soul? Like,
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I think I'll keep that.